Welcome to My Health Renewed with Christy. That's me. Today we have an exciting guest that's coming in. Her name is Yvette Laboy. And let me tell you about her, guys. She is a lupus ninja. Yeah, that's what that sound was. It's me karate chopping or ninja chopping. Yeah. Anyways, she herself has battled with lupus. She has been at her deathbed and overcame. She helps other women become overcomers from lupus. She's certified as an integrative nutritionist and health coaching, as an herbalist. She recently has been certified as an EFS flower essence therapist. So she loves to create healing in her kitchen. That's like her little laboratory area. Just put some recipes together and helping you find that healing. Yvette is passionate about what she does, pouring out her wisdom to others who also suffer from lupus. She's going to help her clients go from not just surviving, but to thriving. First of all, we share her story, and then we go deep into lupus, and she gives us so many powerful tips. So stay tuned, guys. This is episode 11. Now, before we get started, I'm going to go ahead and give the disclaimer. Disclaimer is a statement that denies something, especially responsibility. All right, so let's get started with the disclaimer. My Health Renewed podcast is intended for educational and entertainment purposes only. My Health Renewed podcast is not intended to be a substitute for medical, mental, or nutritional advice from a physician, therapist, mental health practitioner, dietitian, or nutritionist, or any other healthcare or wellness professional. Do not disregard or delay taking or seeking any medical advice or any medication or other professional advice based on the information contained here in My Health Renewed podcast. If you have a medical condition, please consult your physician or healthcare practitioner before undertaking or changing any physical activity. Now, let's give a warm welcome to our amazing special guest, Yvette Laboy. Thank you so much for coming on this podcast. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to welcome Yvette here. Welcome. I'm so glad you're here to share so much of what you've learned. And you said certified EPS flower essence therapist. What exactly is that?
A flower essence is basically where you take the flower petals and you put them in water and brandy and they stay out in the sun, and their essence pours into that particular liquid. It doesn't have to be brandy, but they usually do it with brandy or vinegar. And you drink them and they're very healing on a deeper level. A lot of holistic therapists and psychologists use them.
Oh, wow. That's interesting.
Yeah, and I got into them because I started doing some work on trauma and things of that sort of nature. And I read about that and I said, wow, this sounds like something I'd like to learn.
I love it.
And I learned it. And actually I have the book right here. And there is tons for different ailments, for so many different things. But again, is working on a deeper level, more on a spiritual level. So I found them to be very helpful. And when I use them on some of my clients, they like them as well. But again, it depends on what you're working on, because not everything works on everyone. This I do more with people who are looking more to work on traumas, past traumas, and things like that. Not more lupus, but more on that type, mind, body, that sort of thing.
But have you noticed that a lot of people who've had lupus have had some kind of major trauma that was in their life that actually kicked it into gear?
Girl.
I know, I just jumped right in.
Girl. Yes.
I like that.
Oh boy. Well, did you just start something there? Absolutely. It's funny because I'm writing a book. I haven't finished it yet because I have other things that I want to do first. But I'm 70 pages in, and I started writing about that because I noticed that a lot of my clients that came to me when we started digging deeper, because I like to dig deeper, I found that there's a lot of people who have lupus and other autoimmune disease, I like calling them conditions, suffer from some sort of trauma. I myself did as well. And I'm going to kind of skip from my story a little bit deeper. I suffer from systemic lupus erythematosus, and that lupus affects the whole body. It can affect Any organ, skin, blood, you name it, it can attack it. Liver, you name it, nervous system. Now, I grew up, they told me, with a broken heart. Of all the things that lupus could attack, it attacked my heart. So I feel that there is some sort of connection there. Of course, I've healed that since. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to heal the heart condition because it's going to stay with me forever. But I'm doing really great with it. I have 4 stents. I had 2 heart attacks in the past. And I had to do the work. This is what I say when I say digging in deep to find the root cause. I'm kind of talking about that because sometimes there is trauma, and that's a difficult thing with some people because people don't like to talk about that. They don't like to bring that up because they want to forget, but that's part of the healing journey as well. When I say I work with the body as a whole, that's part of working with the body as a whole. Yes.
Yes. No, it's all connected. It really is connected. Your emotions are not disconnected, or you may be disconnected from understanding what you're really feeling in a sense when I say that, but it's all mind, body, soul, spirit, all of that makes you as a person. So I'll let you go ahead and go a little more into your story and share your story first with everyone so they can really get to know you.
Well, like I said, I was diagnosed with lupus back in 1993. Not too many people knew what lupus was. I had no clue. I had no clue what lupus was at all. Back then I was in the music business. I got signed to BMG International, and it was amazing because that's all I ever wanted to do in my entire life. If you would have told me 30 years ago, this is the type of work you're going to be doing, I'd be like, get out of here. Get out of here.
Yeah.
But, you know, we may want something, but maybe God kind of changes that for us. And it's all good. It's all good. So I was in the music business. I got a record deal. Life was great. I was recording. I was touring. Most of my life, that's what I did. I was in show business. I did have to go to college, though, because my dad said, you're getting a college degree or you're not going anywhere. So I got a degree in psychology. And then I said, well, Dad, here's my degree. I'm out. And I got really deep into music. And while I was doing that, one day out of the blue, my hair started falling out. I had a big bald patch here, literally from here to here. Now imagine,
so sorry.
You're in your early 20s, you're in show business, and you have a bald spot. Devastating. It would be devastating for anybody, especially if you're in show business. I started getting joint pain. I've always been healthy throughout my life because my father was a man who worked out every day in the gym. My uncle owns a gym. So I always had that in my life, health and wellness. So I was always active. And then all of a sudden, I couldn't go up a flight of stairs. All of a sudden, I would wake up with joint pain. And what happened to me one day was I was in Los Angeles. I was doing a show. Everything was great. Everything was going great. The show was amazing. I go to bed. I wake up the next day. I can't get out of bed because I was in so much pain. And I was like, what's going on? I can't move. I feel literally like someone put me in front of an 18-wheeler and I got slammed by it. And I didn't know what it was. And I was terrified. And then I started getting that butterfly rash in my face.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I know those.
And I
those
didn't,
are painful.
I had no idea what was going on. I never heard of lupus. And I said, well, I can't continue doing the shows out here. I need to go back to New York and see a doctor to find out what's going on with me because I had all this energy last night dancing all over the stage and jumping around. And this morning I wake up and I feel like literally an 18-wheeler hit me and I couldn't move. I literally had to slide off of the bed. It was horrible. And you can imagine how terrified I was. I thought the worst of cancer. It's this, it's that. Oh my God. I'm like, Lord, please help me find out what's going on. I come to New York. I go see a doctor, my PCP. And he said, well, since you're feeling joint pain, I'm going to send you to see a dermatologist because of the hair loss and a rheumatologist. So I go see a rheumatologist and he's checking me and I'm thinking, oh, maybe I have rheumatoid arthritis because that runs in my family. My aunt
Mm.
suffered from that, where she was in a wheelchair from rheumatoid arthritis. And as you may or may not know, lupus is a rheumatic disease. It comes from the same family as arthritis and rheumatoid arthritis. But I didn't think lupus. I thought I'm going to end up in a wheelchair. And there goes my music career. And the doctor checked me, the rheumatologist, and he says, there's nothing wrong with you. And I was like, well, I'm feeling something. And he's like, no, there's nothing wrong with you. Maybe you should go see a therapist, a psychologist. So he thought I was wacky schmacky in the head. So I was
Ugh.
like, wait a second. I said, nah, something's up. So I went to a local hospital. I got into the medical library and I pulled out all these medical journals based on the symptoms that I had. And I found lupus. And I said, oh Lord, this is what I have. I know this
Mm.
is what I have because it said sun sensitivity. Because I would get these
Right.
spots, I would swell up the next day. I noticed I lost weight. I went down to 99 pounds. I was a size 00. People
Mm.
thought I was doing drugs just because I was in the music. I've never done a drug in my entire life. I don't drink at all.
Good for you.
It's just never been my thing. I've always been into
Mm.
being healthy and taking care of my body. It's just the way I was brought up. So I go to the doctor. I go to a dermatologist because I had to go see a dermatologist about my hair loss. And I explained to the dermatologist what was going on. I said, can you give me a lupus test? And the dermatologist looked at me like I was out of my mind. It's like, what do you mean a lupus test? What do you know about lupus? I said, well, what I know is that I have all the symptoms and I think I have lupus. Please give me the test. Okay. I said, humor me, give me the test. So he gave me the test, and it turns out that I was positive for lupus, 100%, no doubt whatsoever. After he did the blood work, he called me, come back to my office, and I was positive. And he said, how'd you know? I said, well, I actually had to go, and I told him what I did. I did the research. I
Yeah.
found this. I was told that I was nuts, that I should go see a psychologist.
Mm.
I said, but I know that the body doesn't lie. The body will tell you what's going on. It gives you clues. Even back then, I knew this because, again, my father was always into health and wellness. And that started my journey. A week after that, I got deathly ill to the point where I couldn't even get out of my bed. I had a fever. I was throwing up. Again, I went down to a size 00. At the time, I was living with my dad. My dad didn't know what to do. He didn't understand what was this thing, lupus. My mom heard of lupus because on a soap opera she used to watch, one of the characters died from lupus. So, you
Oh
know,
no. Ugh.
yeah. So, I was like, this doesn't sound good. And I did some research with my dad, and we found the Lupus Foundation of America, and I was able to find a doctor through there. And I went to see this doctor. Oh, God bless him. He was an angel. Old school doctor. His name is Dr. Jerome Simpson. He retired already. My father literally had to carry me to his office because I got so ill I couldn't get out of bed. It was as if something came through me and just sucked the energy out of me. And
Oh yeah.
I was done.
Mm.
And then my doctor said, you need to find some other career because show business is too stressful. And I'm afraid that you're not going to make it. And then he said, your lupus is so bad, you probably won't make it past the age of 40.
Ugh.
And
How old
yeah,
were you at the time?
I was in my mid 20s, early to
Okay.
mid 20s. Yeah.
Wow.
I was devastated. I wanted to cry, but I didn't cry. I prayed. I said, God, please help me.
Yes.
So I get emotional sometimes.
No,
Um,
it's, and we don't know how many people are listening who are going through that exact same thing right now too.
I have to say that I had my spirituality to support me. And this is why I say this to so many people. You have to have a foundation, a spiritual foundation, because that's the foundation of your house. You can't build a house without a foundation. And I believe that if you want to heal, you got to have that spiritual foundation. And thank the Lord, I had God in my life. I had Jesus in my life. And he put a thought in my head. If you got this, you could get rid of it. And
Mm.
the thought came into my head. And I was thinking, but my doctor just told me you can't heal from this. What are you talking about? So that's what came into my head. And I was lucky because I had the support of my family, my father, my mother, my siblings, my friends. I was very blessed. God blessed me all my life with good people. And I had that support. And I told my dad, I said, Dad, if you catch a cold, you could get rid of it. Why can't I get rid of this? And he's like, well, I don't know. He says, but if there's anybody who could do it, I'm sure it's you. So that gave me that strength to say, I can figure this out. I don't know how, but I'm going to figure it out. I did feel bad. I can say I was maybe depressed for a couple of weeks. And then I said, nah, you got this. You can figure this out. I don't know how. I had this crazy thing in my head. And I remember I had a conversation with my doctor, and he gave me all these brochures. And he said, read this, read this. And I read everything. I ate everything up because I wanted to learn. I said, I have to learn, because when you are at war, because that's what it felt like. I felt like my body was at war with this thing.
Yes.
I was like,
said.
then I need to learn about my enemy, because what happens when you go to war? You learn about your enemy so you can learn how to defeat it, right? I said, I need to learn about my enemy so I can figure out something. So that led me to looking at other types of therapy. I looked at stem cell therapy, which back then they talked about it, but it wasn't even a possibility yet like it is now. I even thought about going to another country to do that. And then I was like, no. That's not the answer. Then I came across an article that my doctor gave me in a magazine that talked about holistic therapies. And I was like, oh, that sounds interesting. Because the medications were horrible. The medications they had me on were horrible.
Yeah. So you did take some of the medications. Did they put you on the steroids and stuff too?
Boy, did they put me on those steroids. They had me on like 90 milligrams of prednisone. I got the pumpkin face that they say.
Yeah, I'm so sorry.
And I was like a 00. So when I gained the weight, you couldn't tell. I actually looked healthy when I gained the weight.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, you finally ate some food, Yvette. But it was a trip. And for a while, they thought I may have issues with my kidneys, and they wanted to put me on some sort of, what was it? Metatrexate, something like that is called, that they give people lupus. And I was like, absolutely not. I will not take that, because that's like doing chemotherapy. It is like chemotherapy. I was like, I'm not doing that. I'm not putting that poison in my body. I will figure it out, but this is not the answer for me.
What was then some of your first steps you took?
Well, one of the first steps I took was I had a conversation with my doctor, and I asked him, what do you think about this? I showed him holistic therapies. What is that? I need to learn more. And he said, here, read this, read this, read this. And he said, actually, he says, I'm not supposed to be telling you this. He said, but there are a lot of patients who have done holistic therapies that have been able to go into remission and even reverse it. Thank you, Lord. So I said, I need to learn this. And reading an article wasn't enough for me, because I'm a type of person, if I dive into something, I'm diving in. So I said, I'm going back to school to learn holistic therapies, to learn about nutrition, holistic nutrition. Oh, by the way, when I was touring, my diet was horrible. And I think that had a lot to do with it as well. My diet was horrendous. So that didn't help. So I went back to school. I started learning about holistic nutrition, holistic therapies. I opened up my mind to a whole new world on healing. I got into herbal therapies, holistic therapies, acupuncture, Tai Chi. I mean, you name it. I was trying it because I wanted to go back to who I was. I wanted to feel as close to normal as I could. So I learned all these therapies, and I became my own guinea pig. And I started smoothies, green juicing, enormous amounts of that. Hypernutrition.
So you started in the kitchen. You just started bringing in nutrition. And did you take out anything?
I took out dairy, gluten, which I found was also something that was bothering me. Sugar, salt, a lot of the white food like pasta, processed foods. definitely
Yes.
got rid of those. And it was green juicing, the smoothies, fruit, vegetables, quinoa.
Did you do the Himalayan salt at least? Or did you take out all salt altogether?
I took out all salt altogether, and then I found this. This is called Sea Seasonings Triple Blend Flakes. It has dulse, lava, and sea lettuce. I started using sea vegetables as
Oh,
salt
nice. Okay.
because they're very high in omega-3. And as you know, people who have autoimmune conditions need to have high levels of omega-3 fatty acids in their
Hmm.
system. So I found this actually when I went to school to study nutrition. So I started using this, and this has the iodine in it. It's a salt alternative because it's has that flavor. It also has that kind of fishy, but not fishy. But I got used to it, and this is what I use now. I don't
Okay.
use salt, and I've been using this for years. This is my go-to if I want to. This is my salt. I use a lot of herbs, oregano, garlic, onion, shallots, everything like that I use to season my foods. Pepper, all these things just to help season my foods. I don't do the sugar anymore either. I started using local honey, manuka honey, and agave. I found that I enjoyed those. My body didn't react to them. So I started using that. That's worked for me. Doesn't work
Hmm.
for everybody. Also know that the way lupus affects everybody is different. So the way it affected me may not be the way it affects you or the next person, but you kind of get an idea by the way it affects your body, what you need. I believe the body has an innate ability to heal itself if you give it what it needs. And I believe that with an autoimmune condition like lupus or any other autoimmune condition, I feel that if you catch it before it kind of blows up, and it did blow up on me, but I kind of diffused it. I think you have the capability of reversing it, but you have to stay hyper focused. You have to do the work. You got to be willing to change everything, everything,
Yes.
everything, including nutrition. Nutrition is extremely important. And you know this. Hypernutrition is extremely important to give the body what it needs. I started out doing when they take out foods, the autoimmune protocol diet. I started with that.
Okay. Hmm.
And then from that, I did some vegan. And what I noticed for me is that I started having some deficiencies. So veganism wasn't for me. Then I did
Okay.
vegetarian, and that seemed to work. But after a while, I got tired of that. And then I found the Mediterranean diet. And I don't really subscribe to a specific diet. I think I take a little bit from all different diets and put
Hmm.
it into what I do. But I think I'm more Mediterranean the way I eat, but I don't do cheese. I don't do the dairy because
Okay.
dairy is not good for people who have an autoimmune condition. I do a lot of fish. I love fish. I've always loved fish since I was a kid. I was one of those kids that like eating her fish and
Right.
veggies and things like that because of my dad, you know?
Hmm. Yeah.
Um, so I would say that I kind of that's where I am right now diet wise, but I do the hyper nutrition. That's what I do also with my clients, but I also work with them on a deeper level. I also work with them on their mindset because I feel that in order to heal or reverse something, you have to become someone who can actually do it, if that makes sense.
Elaborate a little bit more on that.
What I mean by that is you have to believe that you have the capability of doing that you have the capability of creating healing in your body because, come on, God made us amazing. He created the human body amazing. And he created it so that if we eat what's on the earth, what he has put there for us, we're going to
Hmm.
stay healthy. We're going to heal. If you see a elephant in nature when it gets sick, it doesn't go to the elephant doctor. You know, a hippo doesn't
Yeah.
go to a hippo doctor. It eats from what's on the earth and it heals. How are we any different? We're not any,
Right.
it's just that now we live in brick buildings and we go to work when we find fast food, which is not from the earth.
Oh, and it's just like sugar to the body, the way it's
Yes.
processed and how your body handles it. How does Oh man, it's funny. I actually just forgot my question. I was gonna ask you. Okay, sorry, I interrupted you, and then I had a question and I forgot it. Oh, that's great. I think I need an
I
herb for that.
I
What do you
also
have for?
go to cola. I also
Oh, I love it.
go to cola. I also worked on my gut health because this is one thing, and I
Yes.
work with my clients on gut health because 80% of our immune system lives within the gut. And the majority of patients who suffer with lupus tend to have issues with their guts, either due to medications, more times not. It could be also to their diet, the standard American diet, which I call SAD, SAD, standard American diet, because it is sad what's there. I mean, if you go to other countries, you see a big difference. Obesity in this country is just skyrocket. There's proof of that. Contributes to a lot of these autoimmune conditions and a lot of these diseases that we see nowadays that you didn't see back in the day when our parents and grandparents were alive because they ate from the earth. They had a cleaner diet. And I feel that that's very important. Also, the way they process the foods now, what they put into the foods, like soy, they say, oh, soy is bad for you. Well, soy is bad for you because the way it's processed now. Gluten is bad for you because the way it's processed now. Back in the day, if you ate gluten, it's not the way it is today when you eat gluten because it's processed differently. So this is
Yes.
why our
So
grandparents didn't have that problem, but we do, because
yes,
I get
yes.
that
And
question a lot.
oh, yeah. Well, so you're right. It's 100% connected. And I was curious when you spoke about bioindividuality and you talked, well, this worked for me. How does someone find out what works best for them when they're searching and saying, well, do I need to take all this out or not? Or should I? Do you have a guideline you kind of go by or give them to help?
I usually get them to do blood work and I look at their blood work, and from their symptoms, I think you can kind of figure out a little bit what's going to work and what's not going to work for them. With me, I mean, I experimented a lot, but I was desperate. When I tell you I was desperate, if someone would have told me, well, you need to take a rocket to the moon to heal, I was going to be on that
Mhm.
rocket. I was going to
Yes.
be on that
I
rocket
hear
heading
you.
to the moon.
Same here. I was like, we're going to find a solution here. Did
Um,
you have any major setbacks though while you were going through your journey?
oh yeah, of course. Uh, I don't recommend this to anybody,
Hmm.
but I myself weaned myself off of the prednisone and the plaquenil and the medications that they had me on. I took myself off of them because my doctor was very adamant about, no, you need to take this, you need to take this. And I was already at the point where I felt I'm good. I know what I'm doing. I'm good. And I did have a slip up where I got really sick and I had a bad flare up and I ended up in the hospital.
Mm.
And it was fine. We have to fail in order to find out what works, right?
Mhm. Oh yeah.
Nothing's 100%. So I had a flare, I ended up in the hospital, and then I was like, well, okay, this is not going to work.
Yeah. I hear you.
I mean, but I learned from it. And like I said, I don't recommend anybody if they're on medication to get off of it. But I do recommend that they have a conversation with their doctor and talk about incorporating holistic therapies, whether it's herbals, whether it's a change in your nutrition, whether it's if you plan to do acupuncture or anything like that. Have a conversation with your doctor who's treating you and say, look, I want to incorporate holistic therapies. I want to do this because I see that people who are doing this, it's helping them. And do that and do it gradually because your body needs to get used to the changes, because you don't want to shock your body either, because that can cause a flare up. And God forbid you have a horrible flare up. You don't want that. But one of the things, again, and I'm going to repeat it again, is I think gut health is extremely important because the food that we eat today and all the sugar and the stress in our body, this can cause a thing called dysbiosis, and that can also lead to leaky gut, and that creates an imbalance of the good and bad bacteria in our gut. I also highly recommend people to take a probiotic, or eat, better yet, eat probiotic foods such as kimchi, kombucha, sauerkraut, foods like that that have probiotics in them. But if you don't eat that way, then start taking probiotics and kind of incorporate that into your diet to help that as well. because what I found is I had gut issues that I did not know about. And once I started healing my gut, again, I started seeing changes because your body will start to heal little by little. You got to keep helping it. So I did one part and it helped, but then there was still, when you're building a puzzle, there was still some pieces missing. And one of those pieces was gut health. I had gut issues, so I had to work on my gut health. And once I started doing that and I changed my diet and I worked on my gut health and I did all these changes for my gut, I started feeling better. I started feeling stronger. Like I said, 70 to 80% of your gut, that's where the immune system lives. Also, 95% of serotonin lives there. And serotonin is a key neurotransmitter responsible for regulating your mood. And that is made in your gut. So if you have a deficiency of serotonin, that can cause depression or anxiety. And a lot of people with lupus have depression. I always say you have to further explore the gut to see what's going on there and fix that. And if you don't know how to fix that, go see a professional who can help you. Who's a professional, someone like me, someone like you, someone like a functional medicine doctor.
Yes.
Who I love functional medicine doctors.
Yeah, me too.
Who can actually assist you to kind of put your body back into balance.
Yes, because they're looking at the whole picture and not just a symptom. You have to understand the whole picture to understand how to really target what's really going on so that you actually solve the problem and not just cover it up temporary. And so now, were there any modalities that was a huge game changer for you?
Well, I found that also working out was something that helped me. I think that's important to keep the body moving. I'm not saying to go run a marathon. I'm not saying to go climb a mountain.
Right.
I'm saying move your body what feels comfortable. If it's just walking from here to the corner, start doing that. If it's signing up for a gym and doing Pilates or yoga or strength training, I found strength training to be very helpful. It helped me with the pain in my joints. It helped to build muscle. So that took a lot of stress off of my joints. And well, today, now I do kickbox. And I recently started studying Krav Maga because I live in New York City.
That's awesome.
But I've been doing kickboxing for quite a while and I love it. Key to that, because I know a lot of people are like, you're out of your mind, you're doing kickboxing and you suffered from an autoimmune condition, is that when you're hitting the bag, you're not putting all of it into it. You're hitting, but try not to hit too hard. Because especially if you have active lupus, I don't. I was able to reverse. You're going to feel it. So I would say start with strength training or whatever makes you comfortable. Swimming is also a great exercise for someone with an autoimmune condition, just being in the water and doing the swimming. I've always felt that if you're going to exercise, you need to find something that you like doing, because if not, you're not going to do it. Like I found yoga to be boring. Sorry, people out there. I'm a hyper person, so I like those hyper types of exercises. When I did yoga, I wasn't excited to do it. I just did it because I felt, well, right now, this is what my body could handle.
Yeah, because you were struggling with some extreme fatigue. So even moving and walking little ways could be just way too much at the moment.
Yes.
And what kind of herbs did you stay away from or was really helpful with people with lupus?
With herbal therapies, you have to be careful because, again, what works for one may not work for another.
So true.
Turmeric I found to be very helpful. But the funny thing about turmeric, I can't take turmeric pills. Those capsules make me sick to my stomach. But I can juice it and drink it until the cows come home and I'm fine. So I don't know if it's the coating on the capsules, but I found that just juicing the turmeric for me works. Making turmeric tea works for me as well. Also remember that you have to add pepper when you're drinking turmeric because the pepper helps to activate the curcumin that's in the turmeric. That's what actually works for the inflammation. Ginger, love ginger. I make a lot of my own herbal teas with the ginger. It kind of helps to ease pain, kind of like aspirin. White willow
Hmm.
bark also, it helps with inflammation. Again, you got to be careful with the white willow bark and the ginger, especially someone like me who has a heart condition. If you're taking blood thinners or aspirin, because those particular herbs can thin your blood as well. So you
Mm.
got to be careful with them. So that's why I say you really have to do your homework or go see an herbalist or speak with your doctor to see if you're on medications or even if you're doing holistic therapies, what type of herbal therapy will work with you where you are at right now and what conditions that lupus brought on that these herbal therapies can help you with. Also, ashwagandha, it sounds like a martial arts, right?
Yeah, it really does.
You know,
Oh, I saw the whole work there.
ashwagandha also was good. It's an adaptogen herb. It's from traditional Chinese medicine. I found traditional Chinese medicine and Ayurvedic herbs to be very helpful.
Okay.
Ginseng is also good. Ashwagandha supports the body inflammations response. Let me see what else. Boswellia. Now, Boswellia, my oldest sister suffers from lupus. She actually recently went into remission.
Oh, wow.
Yes,
Yay.
I helped
That's a
her.
celebration. Oh, praise the Lord.
And I took Boswellia and I didn't have a problem with it. And Boswellia comes from the bark of the frankincense tree.
Oh,
And that's from Ayurvedic therapies. And that helps relieve joint pain and muscle pain, the Boswellia. When I took it, it worked like a charm on me. My sister took it, it made her sick. It made her sick to her
oh,
stomach.
yeah.
So again, like I said, you have to be careful what you're putting in your body and speak to someone who is knowledgeable in that. Just because you read a book doesn't mean you're knowledgeable, or if you go to Dr. Google, it doesn't mean that it's going to give you the correct information. Seek a professional who knows what they're talking about, who can really help you find what works for you. Herbal therapies work. I use them. I use them religiously. I love them. I love my herbals. I make my own herbal teas. I'm actually creating my own brand. I'm working on that now.
I can't
And
wait to talk about that.
and those are going to be geared to people who have autoimmune conditions because, of course, my history. I'm also doing a blend for heart health because, as you know, lupus did attack my heart, left me
Hmm.
with 4 stents. And I feel that that's also an important thing to look out is your heart health. Most people who die from lupus either die from a heart condition that lupus caused or the kidney disease that lupus caused in our body. So that's something that you also have to be careful with when it comes to your heart health and you have lupus. If you suspect or even think, I think I had go to the doctor and get yourself seen. When I'm going to share a quick story with you. When the lupus started affecting my heart, I did a song for Pokemon. It's actually on YouTube. It's actually on Apple and Spotify and all that. It's called Misty Song. I sang it. I sound like a little girl. That's my claim to fame. I won a Billboard Music Award for that, by the way. Best
That's
female
awesome.
vocalist on a kid's
I gotta hear that.
and that was like my claim to fame, my start to everything. And
Mm.
when that was happening in my life and all these things were all these great things were happening, I was like, oh, thank you, Lord Jesus, things are working. Boom, lupus came and said, you're not doing this. Boom, heart attack. I was
Mm.
feeling the symptoms, but I was ignoring them. I noticed that I was feeling very tired. Again, I started feeling tired. I was falling asleep everywhere. I was like someone's grandparents when they sit on the couch and they fall asleep. You know?
Yeah. Yeah. No, I hear you.
And I was like, but I didn't do anything today. Why am I so tired? I realized that that could also be due deal with the heart, but I didn't know that then. Now I do. Live and learn, right? And then when I was climbing up the stairs, I became so fatigued and I was getting pains in my chest. So I went to see a doctor, of course, and the doctor said to me, oh, that's your esophagus. You're suffering from acid reflux. It's GERD. And something told me, that little voice that speaks to me, you know, I say it's God. I say it's Jesus talking to me and saying, no, 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 Yvette, you know what's right for you. And that voice
Yes.
again said, Yvette, no, you know what's right for you. It's not what the doctor's saying. You need to go back to a doctor. So I went to 8, no joking, I went to 8 different doctors. They had no clue. It was my lungs, it was my liver, it was my esophagus, it was GERD, it was my gut, completely off. So I didn't know what to do. So I called my old lupus doctor who was already retired. And I asked him, I said, look, I think the lupus is trying to attack my heart because this is what's going on. And he said, you're absolutely right. He said, go see a doctor at NYU Hospital who I trained. He'll know what to do. I went to see that doctor. He was giving me a stress test. Taking the stress test, I had a heart attack.
Oh my goodness.
Had I not gone that day, I probably wouldn't be sitting here with you right now having this conversation. The day I had the heart attack, that lupus decided, hey, I'm going to give you a heart attack. That sounds like a good thing to do for you today. And again, I laugh about it now and I'm very lighthearted. But when that happened, it terrified me because after all the work that I did, it took me back to day one when I was terrified and I didn't know what to do. And I was like, oh my God, they say I'm not going to live past 40. And this was before the age of 40. So I was like, oh my God, his prediction is going to come true. I didn't know what to do. I just prayed. I prayed and I said, Jesus, please help me. Help me to figure this out like you did before. And I promise that whatever I learn, I'm going to pour that into other people and I will help other people with lupus. Hence why I do what I do today. I survived, obviously, and they had implanted a stent. Then after that, I had a second stent. And then a few years ago, I had an issue with my heart again, where they had to implant 2 stents. But the doctors told me that that was more due to stress, not the lupus, because they said that I was doing really well. And I was just going through a lot in my life at that time. My mom had passed away, and it was just an extremely stressful year for me.
Yeah.
So now I'm very much into dealing with my stress. Talking, kickboxing helps when you have stress. One of the reasons why I love kickboxing so much, because I'm able to relieve that stress. I also like to hike, being in the mountains. I love kayaking, being in the water. These are all things that I find healing to me, to my spirit and my soul. I like being in nature. When I'm in nature, I feel like I'm with the Lord, if that makes any sense.
Yeah. In fact, I was talking to somebody yesterday about that too. We were saying the same thing. We're in nature. I feel I'm just closer to him. When I hike that mountain, I'm like, I'm a little bit higher up there.
Yeah.
I know you see me better.
Yes. So I went through that and then here I am today. And today I'm doing the work that I do because I feel that this is what I'm meant to do. And I still sing. I do background vocals for some of my friends when they're recording. I'm still in show business. I do a little bit of acting. I would love to go back to music, but I have other things I want to do. I want to write a book because I want to help people who have lupus and who are suffering to see that there are alternative ways to heal your body and to reverse this disease, or I like calling it a condition.
I like that. It's like, hey guys, this is a condition. That means it's conditional if we know how to work at this in the right way. And it touches my heart to see that God was watching out for you. You're moving forward, and yeah, there's setback, things happen, but God was still there. He was watching out for you, and I just praise God for that. And then you mentioned that you had some products around there that you wanted to show.
Yes, I wanted to show. Well, I already shared this. I use this as opposed to salt. It takes a little getting used to, but I love it now. I love it now.
C seasonings. And did you just get that on Amazon? Is that where
you could get it at Amazon or at your local health food store? It's called C Seasonings. And they have, this is organic triple blend flakes. They also have this with sea salt, but I just want to stay away from salt. So I use this one instead. And they also have one that has pepper in it. Cayenne pepper also.
Okay.
I'm not a pepper girl. I'm spicy enough, baby.
All right now. With that kickboxing and being a Lupus Ninja. I mean, that's pretty spicy.
This brand is called Design for Health. You could find them on Amazon. This is the B Supreme, and it has coenzyme B, vitamin B complex, because people who have lupus need to take vitamin B complex. B
Yes. In fact,
complex
there's so many people deficient in B complex now,
and
especially
vitamin
when you're
D.
vegetarian
Yes,
and
and
vegan.
vitamin D as well. They also sell vitamin D. This brand sells all sorts of vitamins. They even have one red yeast rice, which is also for people who have high cholesterol. You can use red yeast rice. It helps to lower cholesterol. It works like a statin, but it's not a statin. That's also
Huh.
an Ayurvedic herb.
Red geese. How do you spell that?
Red yeast,
Oh, red
RED,
yeast.
red
Okay.
yeast rice. Yeah, that's my New York accent. Sorry.
Oh, no.
I can say
I just
coffee
had to put it
for you.
together in one word. Red geese.
Red yeast
Oh,
rice.
red yeast.
Yeah,
Got
that's
you.
an herb, and that works like a statin.
Hmm.
And they sell that. They have a one called Floresterol, which also helps to lower cholesterol because, again, a lot of people who suffer from lupus tend to have issues with high cholesterol. And it has nothing to do with their diet. It's just that if you have that particular type of lupus that attacks your heart, that's what it's going to do to your body.
Yeah. And I like that you brought up red yeast rice too, because a lot of people will take statins and they don't realize that it's blocking an enzyme, the CoQ10 for the heart. And so they don't know to add in certain things that they need when they're taking certain drugs. It's an herb.
It's an herb, but it acts the way a statin would on the
Okay.
cholesterol.
So
I
does,
have clients who have taken it and they love it, and they're not even on a statin. And I've
I don't
had
know.
people who are on statin that started taking the red juice rice and they lowered their statin
Okay.
dose. It's from Ayurvedic medicine.
Oh, okay.
It's an Ayurvedic herb. It's red and it looks like red rice. And
It
they
does.
grind it into a powder and they put it in the capsule of tinctures, because
Hmm.
herbal tinctures, you could also take those as well. Like ginseng, a slippery elm is also a good herb to take because it's mucilaginous. And
Okay.
people who have lupus, who have gut issues, you want something that's mucilaginous in your system. Also, licorice, and I'm not talking about Twizzlers. I'm talking about
Oh,
the
dag nabbit.
I'm talking about
I'm kidding.
the herb licorice that's also good for health, gut health, and so is marshmallow root. And I'm not talking
Mhm.
about Stay Puft marshmallows. I'm talking about
I know.
marshmallow root.
Everybody's just
That
getting excited. I can have some liquor with my marshmallows. Oh, maybe not. That's
and
funny.
that's also good for gut health. And another thing I suffered with was brain fog.
Oh, yes. So related to the gut too.
It is because the brain and gut connection and the access and the connection through the vagus nerve. Oh, it's so much. I could
Mm.
talk about all this stuff forever. But an
I
herb that you
know.
can use that can help is gotu kola, which is what I mentioned before. That's good for brain
Okay.
fog. Also, they have nervine. That's it, nervine herbs such as chamomile, which is an antibacterial that helps to calm the stomach. It's a bitter
Hmm.
herb. If you want an herb that's not a bitter herb, you could do mint, which
Okay.
is more of a sweeter, refreshing type of herb. Lavender also is it's also a calmative. Valerian, valerian root. It's good for anxiety. It's good to help you relax. It's good to help you sleep. Now, with that, I'm going to say, add on that valerian root does not work with everybody. I cannot take valerian root. It makes me sick. And I think that has to do more with the fact that I had an autoimmune disease
Okay.
because my sister reacts badly to valerian root also. So if you have lupus, just be careful with valerian. If you take it and you feel funny taking it, don't take it anymore because you don't want to get sick. You also have passion flower, which also helps you calm, is good for sleeping. And on that note, I'm going to talk about this. This is from a company called Highlands. It's called Calm Forte.
Okay.
And
Comforte.
yes, and this is very helpful. Again, it's an herbal therapy, and this is very helpful to keep you calm, to help you sleep, to help you relax, especially if you're like on medication or if you just like very anxious and you need a little extra because some people with lupus do have problem sleeping. As you start getting older as well, you have problem sleeping. This is a good go-to. They also have one called Rest by the same company, Highland, and it says Rest here. That one has valerian, so I cannot take that one. I use this one sometimes. I don't use it as much, but there are days sometimes where my mind is like racing because I feel I didn't do enough work. And I'm like, you need to get up and do this. I'll take this and it calms me. And this has in it chamomile, it has passion flower. It does not valerian. The other one does. So this has a few good calmative herbs in them, or nervine herbs that help you stay calm and relax. Now, we all need omega-3 fatty acids. Some of us don't get enough. Me, I love salmon. I can eat that again until the cows come home. Avocado. I mean, oh God, I love my avocado.
But so you probably have some good salmon recipes.
Oh, yes.
You do?
Yes. I do a great salmon teriyaki. I also do a salmon with honey ginger to die for.
Really? Oh,
yes.
Nice.
Yes. Also, I like to do stir frying.
Okay.
What I found also that a lot of individuals who suffer from lupus tend to have a reaction to soy products like soy. There is a brand that's soy free that they sell, which I did not bring with me, but I have it in my refrigerator. I'll send you a copy, a photo of it, so you could, share that with your viewers, that you can use, and it doesn't give you a reaction like regular soy does, and it tastes exactly like soy. Exactly.
Okay.
Like soy.
Really?
Yes.
I'll be excited to see this.
And this is from Nordic Naturals. This is omega-3, is the liquid. Why I choose the liquid as opposed to a pill, because it gets into your system quicker. And again, if you have a heart condition because of lupus or whatever, this also helps with the triglycerides to help lower them. I had a client that had very high triglycerides, and I gave him the liquid omega-3s, and they went down, and he was doing much better. So this is why I use this. I like this brand because it has a great lemon taste to it. So you're not, sometimes you have that when you take omega-3s, that burp, and you burp that fish. It's just so nasty. This has a lemon flavor. So you're not burping fish. You're burping lemons.
That's good. That's good.
And another thing that I wanted to share with the viewers is, and this is old school. This is grandma old school. This is called silver.
And
this helps to support the immune system. And this is what it looks like. You see, it has the droppers of liquid. It looks like water. You take a teaspoon of this 2 or 3 times a day. And if you feel like you have a cold coming on, I would say take it 3 times a day, a teaspoon. You're going to take it in the teaspoon, put it under your tongue, hold it for 30 seconds, then drink it and take a sip of water. This helps to support your immune system. I went through COVID and flu season and all that just taking this, and it really helped to support my immune system. And it's called colloidal silver. It's called
colloidal silver. Yeah, I used to take colloidal silver, but I couldn't ever figure out which company I thought was good, or it's just, I got confused with that. So then
I like this company a lot. And there is a company online, and of course they're way more expensive than this one. Coated silver is by Symbiotica. And they have a thing called coated silver, and that blows this one out of the water. But this is good for daily, or to take it when you're feeling a little rundown and you feel like, I think I may be catching something. Another good thing that helps to boost us and support your immune system, especially if you feel like you're coming on with something, is oregano oil. You take a couple of drops of that. Yeah. And you could put it in hot water and drink that. It's powerful.
Yes, it is. And it's important also, I just say, to know your companies too. So you want to make sure there's no synthetic stuff in there. Even if it says organic, you still have to know your company, and you have to know if they're hiding anything, how they're processing it. The whole works on that.
Yes.
And
I also
yeah.
take a plant-based calcium.
Okay.
This is the one I take. It's plant-based calcium.
Oh, it's
And
algae calcium.
yeah, it's
Is that what it
algae
says?
calcium.
Algae?
And I like that better than the regular calcium. Why? Because the fact that I do have a heart condition,
Hmm.
and I had a conversation with my cardiologist, and I asked them, because they tell a lot of heart patients, well, don't take too much calcium. So I said, can I take this instead and not have to worry? Because I'm also worried about osteoporosis. Being a woman, you have to worry about all these things. I am getting up there in age, so I have to take some sort of calcium. And I started taking this, and this is great. I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
I
Well,
actually like it
it's in
better
a
than the
food.
regular.
Yeah, it's a food source. It's an algae. Algae. I'm all about algae.
Spirulina is also good.
Spirulina. Yeah.
Spirulina is
That's
good. They have the blue and the green. Either one of them is great.
You have been so wonderful. I know I've taken quite a bit of your time, and the thing is, I would want to keep going. And you've got so much that you've shared with us, and I want to thank you. Is there anything else you'd like to talk about or mention before we wrap it up?
Well, like I said, I work with mind, body, and spirit. I feel it's important that you feed your body the right foods. Hypernutrition, water is very important. Mindset is very important when you're healing. And I also feel that really having a strong spiritual foundation, and I know people are probably like, she's really pushing the spirituality, but I think it's really important because it's what got me through. If I did
Yes.
not have a relationship with God, I don't know if I would have been able to survive this. And I've been blessed that I've had God in my life, all my life, since I was a little girl, because, Latino family and, you know, Sunday school, church. And I'm glad that they embedded that in me growing up, because as an adult, I made the choice to keep God in my life. I made the choice to keep Jesus in my life. And during tough times in life, whether it's a pandemic, whether it's an illness, you're always going to have that support. Like I said, that is the support of your house. Without a foundation, your house is going to fall. So it's good to have that foundation. And if you don't have that foundation, I highly recommend that you create that foundation, create that relationship. And you're going to see it makes a world of a difference. And the world is changing. We need that extra support. And I'm glad that I have that support. That person that's standing right here supporting me, putting his hand on my shoulder and saying, you know what? It's going to be okay. And I feel that is one of the biggest things for healing, is to have that and know that you have that support to guide you, because it's what guided me. And it
Mm.
really, it's what brought me to all the things that I started doing. I sincerely believe that in my heart and in the depth of my soul.
Yeah, I'm 100% with you. God's been taking me on a journey. And when I had lupus, I definitely connected with you when I heard, oh my goodness, she's a lupus ninja. I got to meet this woman. I got to talk to this woman. We're going to bring her on. But he has definitely kind of just showed me every step of the way. Doesn't show you everything at once sometimes, which is a good thing. Because if I knew everything I'd be doing now, I'd be like, no, that's too much. Just live life. But it's worth it when you have a quality life rather than when you're in bed, have no energy, so fatigued. I mean, that's just not the way to live. It really isn't.
It's not living, you're just surviving. And I wanted to thrive. And I help my clients to thrive, not just survive, because we were put on this earth to live and to thrive, to live a life, not just to walk around and experience it, but to really live a life, a robust life, and just be, you know?
Yes. Live life and live it abundantly, right? So let's, as long as we have here, let's do it the best. And I just want to thank you, Yvette, for coming on here and sharing so much. And below, we have your website. So, guys, go down there and check out Yvette. And we also have her Facebook, her Instagram, her YouTube. Is there any other ways you want to mention that they can come find you?
I'm mostly on Instagram now, and I
Okay.
do YouTube videos. I just started a TikTok, but honestly, I don't understand TikTok. I put little videos there. I do have a web series on YouTube called From Lupus to Living, where I did a series of different videos on different lupus topics, from hair loss to mindset and healing and lupus in the gut and nutrition. And I feel that that's something, if you're interested, go and check out those videos. I did started recording new videos on a weekly basis. I put some of them on Instagram, but I'm gathering all together to create a new series, From Lupus to Living, to kind of pour some of the wisdom that I learned throughout the years onto others so they can do the same for themselves in their lives and just heal and live and just be the way God wanted us to be, which is happy and at peace. And healthy. Health is wealth.
And health is wealth. Yes. We will end with that coming from the Lupus Ninja. I like that. With kickboxing skills. Oh gosh. Thank you so much. Thank you for listening to My Health Renewed. That right there was a podcast. Okay. I'm just hats off. I hope that was very helpful because it was helpful to me, being that I was diagnosed with systemic lupus too. So I'm always like, yes, let's talk about lupus. And check out her material. She's got a lot of materials that's very helpful, and contact her if you need someone to coach you through lupus. She's amazing at what she does. And then be sure to go to myhealthrenewed.com. Check out my website. I offer ways on how to proper detox, hypernutrition, and bring back resilience in our life. I work with women also who struggle with autoimmune and they want to get their health back. So we start with small steps. Small steps make big changes. So check out my link also, and be sure to share this podcast with someone that you know that may be struggling with lupus, or maybe they have all these signs and symptoms, they don't know where to go, or they just have an autoimmune. This is a good jumpstart to understanding the power of holistic therapies, nutrition, things that can be done to make a big difference in your life. So hope you enjoyed this. Stay tuned, and God bless.